it's scarce, but you also in difficult times, that's when you really learn about the people around you, about the team around you, and you pull together and you make it work. So I started actually as process controller, temporary employment, not permanently employed, for 3 months. And then I got offered the position as a engineering trainee.
I actually opened a small construction company. So I went briefly into entrepreneurship. I did small contracts with my friends at that stage.
And then I think about 3 months before RFC, low temperature carbon steel fittings that failed impact testing. And then we had a whole testing campaign. And in the end, it delayed that project by about a year because we had to test.
Previous role, I could do everything: commercial, cost control, etc. One of the mindsets that I needed to adjust to quite quickly was you can't make every decision by yourself. You need to consult commercial.
You have to learn quite quickly that you cannot be in all the detail. It's simply impossible. The portfolio is too big. There's just too many things happening. So you need to get out of the detail, and you need to trust your team members. Because if you do not trust,
stay away from micromanaging as much as you can, right? But at the same time, you should also not use an aspect of not micromanaging to ignore the guidance that you need to give to a young engineer or a young project professional. So that building.
Blessed, fortunate, and I'm grateful for that. Yes, there was tough times, and yes, probably deciding to move the family to Secunda was personally a difficult time. All the friends in the whole triangle, but I can't.
Hi everyone, welcome to Peace Square Podcast. Today I have 2 guests, Mr. Nelis and Mr. Ismail. Welcome to Peace Square Podcast. So how I normally start the episode, you're gonna pick 2, let's say 2 each randomly, and then you just give them to me. You don't look at them, right? And then whatever you pick, you also have to answer those questions. So I just pick 2 random cards. There's 1. Then that will be 2. And you as well. And then, perfect. And then to me, let's start there.
We should be able to answer them. I see it says kids on it. So
exactly.
Hopefully we can.
It's the kids version, so you should be able to answer them. So let's see. If you were invincible, where would you go and what would you do? That's how they feel first, since you picked them.
I think if I was invincible, I would go to the current 2 areas in the world which is subject to war, and I would use that powers to stop it.
To stop it?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
I would try that.
I will try it. Okay. Is this sure? Where would you go?
I was actually thinking in the same lines of thought. But I think specific, I would go to Russia and try to take out what Putin is depending on and stop the Ukraine war. It's been there for too long.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, super. The last one from your side, if you had to live in another country, which one would you choose? You go in there?
I don't think the one that I'm going to I would choose. If I have to live in another country, look, I really enjoy South Africa, the climate, everything in here.
Yeah.
I have traveled, and it's probably, one can say it's a bit boring, but I've traveled Namibia quite a bit, and I really enjoy Namibia, and it's probably not that different from where I grew up. I grew up not far from Namibia, but it's a nice country.
I was going to say
I really enjoy it.
I was going to say, sounds like like in Namaqualand.
You see, it's close by, but I enjoy the people. I enjoy the scenery. I enjoy Namibia, so I'll probably say Namibia.
Well, spoken like in Namaqualand. Okay. So, for you, Mr. Ismail?
I think I would go to Canada. The weather is not as good as South Africa, or perhaps most of the African countries where we're so close to equator. But in terms of peace and perhaps the status of development, you can also raise kids. Quite easily there.
Yeah, okay. On your side then, coming back to you, do you prefer summer or winter? Why?
I prefer summer. Reason being, where I was born, we never knew what winter meant until I came to South Africa in Secunda. So summer is the best.
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
Yeah?
Yeah, for me, it's actually winter. And the reason for that is also linked to where I grew up. I grew up on a farm, firstly, and in a farm that's in the winter rain area. So summer is tough where I come from, so winter we always look forward to when the rain starts. I know in Secunda when it's winter and it's cold, it's not that lekker, but for me it's always, as long as it rains where my brother still farm on the same farm I grew up, then I'm happy. So I like winter.
I like winter as well because I'm from the Val, so every time people complain about the cold, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. You have never experienced cold. So it's not that cold up here in Secunda. Last one. What do you want to be when you grow up? Actually, let's put it this way. What did you want to be when you grow up compared to now?
Interesting question. I mean, I've got gray hair now, even though you can't see it. I wanted to be a manager. Irrespective of what kind of manager I would have been, but I wanted to be a manager.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you are one now.
I think when I grew up, I thought I would become a hardcore discipline engineer, and I actually enrolled for electronic engineering.
Okay.
But I guess in a sense I was lucky because I studied at Stellenbosch. You could do industrial electronic or industrial mechanical, and the first 2 years is electronic engineering or mechanical engineering. And I then realized after that first 2 years, but that's just not what I want to do. So I was actually very happy to switch to industrial. But yeah, I thought I was going to be a hardcore engineer, discipline engineer, and glad that I probably went into management more.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. So let's start then. How do you two first start working together? When? Okay. And how and when did you guys start working together?
Yeah, so it was mid 2019 actually. I worked in Sasol for the biggest part of my career at Sasol. So I then moved to Secunda beginning 2017 for Finance M6 specifically. I was then the senior project manager there. And 1st July 2019, I started getting involved a bit earlier. Yihu was the project director for Clean Fields, and he then went on retirement. So I was acting in his position. So that's where we started. 1 July 2019 officially, and then shortly thereafter shut down on the eastern side column revamps project. But mid 2019.
Mid 2019. Oh, okay. That's good. Then you were acting. You were acting project director and acting VP?
No, I was actually, there was still a project director. I was acting project director for Clean Fields, and that year, I think November, I started acting VP Secunda. November 2019. So I first started off just as Clean Fields, but then it was just a couple of months in, and then they said, okay, this is now going to change to the whole of Secunda. And that was November 2019.
Yeah. Okay. So, Mr. Ismail, what would you say is the effective VP senior manager dynamic look like in a high pressure environment? That kind of relationship?
I think, as Nelis has highlighted, so we started working together in July 2019. But a month later, so I would say 4 weeks later, we were having one of the first major shutdowns in clean fuels.
Yeah.
With that expectation, pressure emerged already. We had long lead equipment that had to be delivered in perhaps just before the shutdown. We had huge cranes that we had to mobilize because we were working on the columns, etc. And I think I just want to highlight, we have been under pressure in clean fuels until perhaps there were certain delays in terms of cash flow restrictions. Now adjusting to the upcoming row, it's a different world altogether. I should be honest. Being a senior manager in a project portfolio is different from being a VP for P&E and bringing mining projects in perspective as well. So it's a different perspective altogether. You need adjustments, a lot of stuff to learn within a short period of time. So looking forward to it. But it's not going to be easy.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, so Ms. Nelis, tell me, when you first started working with Mr. Ismail, what made you trust him with big responsibilities and everything?
So I think we started working together in July 2019, but I was in Secunda from 2017, so I knew they were busy with clean fuels, so I was aware, and also myself and Yiku also had obviously a lot of handover discussions before I took over, and I think firstly in the feed, what I heard from in Secunda and then in Yiku when he started giving the handover on clean fuels. Also, how we explained the guys working there, Ismail included, he really painted the picture to say, but good guys doing great work. You can trust them. And I also sort of knew that because Yiku was mostly not in Secunda. He came to Secunda once in a couple of weeks. So essentially the Secunda team were running the project and they were doing well. So I think then, so I walked in knowing that the guys are good and they will do a good job. And they proved me right. So that I'm very grateful for that. Because the reality is, I mean, you're as good in the project environment, you're as good as the team that surrounds you and that helps you. It is a team environment. One individual don't make a difference there.
Yeah, okay, super. And now you'll be transitioning or acting as VP, right? Like, what would you say is the, how I put it, what is the quality that you have learned from Mr. Nelis?
It's the way he handles questions in big meetings. I think he's calm, but he's also factual. And I think one aspect that I believe I need to earn from the rest of the stakeholders is the trust that he has earned over a period of time. So get your answers right and be straightforward in terms of clarifying those.
Yeah, okay. It seems like I'm speaking to the same person all the time. Everyone that I spoke to say the same thing. You're a very calm person. You're factual. You're like, you're strict, and they try to explain why he's strict. I was like, no, he likes upholding his standards and all of that. So, okay. I see. Then, you started as a process controller.
I started, yes. Actually.
But you did engineering, so...
Yeah. So my route was actually interesting. I mean, I didn't have a Sasol bursary, so I had this whole thing figured out. I didn't have, in fact, a bursary so my parents funded my studies. And I had it figured out. I'm going to finish my engineering degree. When I finished, it was sort of a big thing that you could still go to the UK quite easily for a year and a half on a visa. You work there, you travel Europe. So that was my plan. I'm going to do this with a couple of friends from varsity, all set up. We all applied, and the other guys I would have gone with, they all got it. I got an interview in Pretoria at the embassy of the UK.
Okay.
So I drove from Springbok to Pretoria. That's quite a drive in itself for an interview. And then they refused a visa. So my plans at that point in time was, okay, but this is not going to work at all. So I actually went farming with my dad.
Yeah.
So I farmed for almost a year. But that's my older brother would have always farmed. He went to a agricultural school, etc. So that was always the plan, and I wasn't that into farming, to be honest. I enjoyed it, but never thought I would become a farmer. And then, so my uncle actually worked for Sasol in Sasolburg. And they usually, June holidays, when it's raining and it's nice on the farm, they usually came to visit. And he said, okay, but give me your CV. If you don't want to farm, I'll hand it in at Sasol and let's see what happens. And then I actually got appointed as a process controller, not as an engineer. So I did process control for 3 months, and then I guess I didn't do too badly. Then I got appointed actually as an engineer in training after that 3 months, and then my journey started engineering training.
Okay, quite interesting. So and then you did industrial. Okay,
I did industrial
in Potchefstroom.
No, Stellenbosch.
Stellenbosch.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
Okay, cool. What you did civil, Mr. Joe?
Yes.
Civil, where do you do it?
Studied civil engineering. Completed in 1999, December.
Year was born, okay.
And started working in the year 2000, so in January. But with the course at the University of Malawi, first 2 years, you did almost everything. So we had some electrical engineering courses but then in year 2, you could now start moving into proper civil engineering modules. It was 5 years. You had to do diploma after year 3, and then if you pass, then you go and do degree for the last 2 years. I did not really spend a lot of time in an design house. There was some designing that perhaps I did in my early employment days, but I went into projects immediately. One of the modules was construction management in that degree. Worked on roads, some buildings. Then at some point, the industry was kind of dry. Did not really have a lot of projects at that stage. I actually opened a small construction company. So I went briefly into entrepreneurship. I did small contracts with my friends at that stage until then I also transitioned into consultancy. So I was employed with another company in Malawi, road construction mainly, but I still kept on running the small construction company in parallel until 2006 when I actually got an offer in Mozambique for the Pandi Phase 2 gas development project for Sasol International. I went in through a consulting firm that was actually working in support of Wood in those days. Their name was Foster Wheeler. So we worked together on civil works, etc., earthworks, and that was from 2006 to 2008. In September 2008, actually, I got a call from Sasol, South Africa. They said, we're looking to actually set up and grow construction management department. We would like to invite you for interviews. So I was like, but must I come that side or could I come to Mozambique? So they actually ended up coming to Mozambique. My interviews were in Temani at the CPF. And a few days later, they were like, okay, once you close this, get ready to move down to South Africa. But before you do that, come for a visit in March. So the following year came for a sightseeing sort of visit, and they asked me, do you want to stay here or not? So I had to spend a week plus discussing with the wife and saying, must we or must we not? and we ended up, so first step on 009, that's when I started work with process and engineering.
Since then, you've been here. Great. Spent a lot of years in this company. Yeah. You're reaching 25, isn't it?
Yes.
This is where it comes in. I was just gonna speak to that one. That just walk us through your journey from early days of becoming like an engineer. You started as process control, then engineer, then up to being like a VP of project and engineering.
So as explained a bit earlier, I started actually as process controller, temporary employment, not permanently employed for 3 months. And then I got offered a position as a engineering training. So then engineering training got into the industrial engineering program. And I spent time in procurement and supply management. I spent time in operations, and then I also spent time in projects. So that was my GDP, the 3 years there. And then I liked the project environment. So, and I was fortunate that a lady in Sasolburg that was part of the governance department at that point in time, I guess nowadays the project services and support team. So she worked with Dirk Lourens and Chris van der Berg on the governance side. So BD&I model, they administered that and worked on that. And I got an opportunity there after my GDP to actually go and work in that department. Spent roughly a year there. I worked the score balance scorecard for Group Technology at that point in time, or SASTEC. I ran that, so I was responsible to get all the inputs. We did an update on the BD&I model, so I was more on the governance theoretical side, and I did that for about a year, and then I got a call from Dirk Lourens. They were busy with Project Turbo. So in Secunda, they had a couple of modules on Project Turbo, and one of them was Project Landlord, still at Unit 45 with Veolia. It was quite a famous project in Secunda. So Dirk gave me a call and he said, okay, but you've now had the exposure more on the theoretical side, BD&I model, etc. We want to give you some field exposure. I got married February of the year, and March of that year I moved to Secunda, but not with Dalian. Dalian stayed in Sasolburg. I drove through Monday mornings. I stayed late. At that time, Secunda didn't have a mall. So Lake Umuzi, I clocked in Lake Umuzi Monday mornings, and I then clocked out on Friday afternoon. So I worked Project Landlord away from home. First year of marriage, it was quite tough. And but that was my first physical project management experience. And then my agreement was finish or get Landlord to RFC. And as I said, it was a difficult project. Then you can go back to Sasolburg. So that I was about a year in Secunda, Monday mornings in, Friday afternoons out back to Sasolburg. And then I went back to Sasolburg as project engineer on the polyethylene 3 project, which was part of Project Turbo, but just on the Sasolburg side. So Jacques de Tooy was the senior project manager. I was a project engineer on the project. And then shortly after we completed that, and then it was the EPU5 project in Sasolburg, ethylene purification unit. So there I was actually appointed then as project manager. So project engineer, Poly3, then project manager. So EPU5 was the first project which I ran as project manager independently with just the senior manager overseeing.
You mentioned on that APU5 there was issues with it. It was like timeline or schedule.
So we were actually going really well on EPU5. I still thought, yes, this is going to be a model project. And then I think about 3 months before RFC, we had low temperature carbon steel fittings that failed impact testing. And then we had a whole testing campaign. And in the end, it delayed that project by about a year because we had to test all the heat numbers for the low temperature carbon steel. A number of them failed. We imported it from South Korea, those fittings. A number failed, so we were almost there. And then we started cutting fittings out of the plant and replacing them with new fittings. And it ended up a year late. We got some leeway for it. We were still nominated as project of the year, but Hannes Base actually won it that year with the propylene bullets in Secunda. We came second. But yes, we were so confident and we were almost there. At the same time, FT Web was happening in Sasolburg and they had it was phase 1 schedule challenges there. And we were going well, and then that happened to us. So that you must also learn in the project environment. You get these curveballs which impact significantly. And then after EPU5, I actually went to Natref Clean Fuels. And that was also the first time I worked with Hugo. But Natref Clean Fuels, we did basic development. And then it was decided to stop the project and not continue. And then I got assigned to the small projects portfolio in Sasolburg as senior manager. Sorry, while I was in EPU5, during the course of EPU5, I got promoted to senior project manager. So that was roughly 2010, 2011, more or less. So then Natref Clean Fuels did basic engineering, got stopped, did not continue. And then after Natref, small project Sasolburg, for a year, senior manager. And then it was actually Gerrit was appointed, Gerrit Viljoen, as SVP in projects and engineering. And it was, I still remember, September 2016. One of the commitments he made when he was appointed is he said he will get to everybody, he will have a chat with everybody, meet them. So he set up a discussion with me. He was in Sasolburg, and I thought it was this chat to just get to know me. And it was that. Asked where I'm coming from, what's my background, family setup. Very nice chat. And about 2 weeks later, he phoned me and he said, okay, we want to relocate you to Secunda, Finance Dam 6 project in Secunda, now going into execution, and we want you to execute that project for us. So that was then a big discussion with the family. We came through to Secunda over a weekend to just have a look, etc., and then moved to Secunda beginning 2017 and to take on Finance Dam 6 as senior project manager. And then Finance Dam 6 till mid-2019, when Hugo retired, project director for Clean Fuels. At that point in time, Clean Fuels was still combined. Natref and Secunda was combined. Natref, then a couple of decisions, cash flow, etc. So it was split at some point, but it was still the combined Clean Fuels. And then November 2019, Gerrit asked me to act as VP Secunda. It was a combined role between Secunda, actually the whole project delivery under Kitesh, and they had the fatality in Sasolburg. And Mozambique was getting quite busy. So at that point in time, they made a decision to split Secunda and then the rest of South Africa. And then they asked me to act in that position. And I acted there for a year. And then as part of actually Sasol 2.0, the Sasol 2.0 restructuring, I was then appointed VP November 2020. And since then, looking after Secunda project delivery, Sarel and team got added, the small projects for Secunda at some point in time, and then most recently mine. So that was my route.
Yeah, that was a route. Very interesting.
It's
a journey. A very good one. Was there any project that stressed you, like EPU5, stressed you? I mean, last year the sulfur one is not.
No, I think that the one that stressed me maybe was SSC cyclone and riser replacement. Because we had to select refractory material that could work in line with the objectives, but it never appeared we were getting an answer in time for the shutdown. That stressed me a lot. And it was one of my major projects to run as a project manager. I was dedicated at that stage. Stress-wise, yes.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, but for both of you, is there a moment in your career where you feel like things like that's where you experienced like a career growth, like a sharp curve going up?
Yeah. I think for me, I've always told a few guys, say, if you work in Secunda, you work in maybe more than 3 business units and finish your projects, irrespective of the outcome, you can go anywhere and deliver a successful project. Coincidentally, when I joined 1st April 2009, my first project was at Landlord at the Waterworks. So I was paired as a construction manager with Jean-Marc Falsel. Jean was handling the defects repair for the clarifiers as well as the sumps that were underground in those days. They were leaking.
Yeah.
So that's the first project that I handled when I joined Sasol.
Okay.
But from there, we went straight into shutdown. I mean, before then, I never knew what a shutdown meant. So obviously, if you really want to understand how much pressure from schedule perspective the project can be, then work in a shutdown. Yeah. And be in a total shutdown, because if you got 7 days, you got 7 days. Yeah. And I think I had to actually transition quite a lot. Joining Sasol, one of the challenging aspects is to really understand the technical jargon, the language. It's not just a PIM book. It's not just the normal project management the terminologies. Sasol has got their own. So you need to understand, you need to make sure that you are making the right decisions at the same time. I mean, before then, in my previous role, I could do everything, commercial, cost control, etc. One of the mindset that I needed to adjust to quite quickly was you can't make every decision by yourself. Yeah. You need to consult commercial, you could discipline engineers say, yes, you did civil engineering, but you got a lead civil engineer on the team. So use those expertise. So that kind of environment. But when did I feel I made maybe a huge transition? I worked on MTOP 7. MTOP 7 initially was actually framed as a support to the overall clean fuel solution, even though at the later stage it was taken out. But at SCC, when we installed those big structures with column, with all new internals, was a major turnaround for me. I reported to Tinas Johnson, was the project manager on that project, and we also had a project director structure in thobose days. So Cobus Devet was actually a project director looking after MTOP 7. We also had MTOP 9 being developed. Elisa was the engineering manager, Elisa Sprig, who is in the commercial now. In those days, a few times I actually got delegated to stand in for project management. I went to steering committees, etc. I recall in one of the times when Nelis and Ismail both went on leave and had to go to my first year of presenting. I got very difficult questions. I actually came out with 2 big next steps that I needed to actually answer 2 days later. But the point is, I was actually honest enough to say I don't have the answers, but I'll go back and find the answers for you. And I went back with the answers. I had a call with Cobus Devet that night, and he was like, okay, we know what Danand is looking for. Danand Rajaram chaired the steerco on that day. He wasn't an easy stakeholder, I must say. But in those days as well, the MTOP 7 was still in construction. Then SCC had a fire incident. The dryers got burnt, and we had to fix them as soon as possible. Then I was asked to say, whilst we are doing MTOP 7, can you run this replacement of this dryer as soon as possible? It was in September because they were starting up, and then something happened, and then there was fire at SCC. We did that work mainly heavy rigging. We had to manufacture that vessel as soon as possible. We worked like 7 days in and out. DB Thermo did manufacturing of that gas fire. The dryer. It came out within the shortest period of time we could. There were safety challenges in there. One of the instances, we had like a cable underneath welding blanket. People kept on stepping on it, and you move pipe spools over it, and it started like picking up heat. And all of a sudden, one of the safety guys said, "There's some smoke here." I had to run. That was my first safety incident as a project manager. During that time, that's when I started feeling that growth. It was not like, projects will go smooth. You plan, start, and end it, and you get it right there. You're going to get challenges in the process. And I've always said, if you really want to be a very good hunter, like a lion, you see most of the lions get injured in the process as well. They get burned in the process. Some of them, they even lose the mane, right? So
you have to have scars to tell the story.
You need to have the scars to tell a story. For me, that was a growth. But it also helped me to prep me quite well when we went into the SEC Cyclone and Riser Replacement Project. I was lucky guy in there, I do believe. The engineers that were part of that project were also so keen with field work, site work, and we gelled together quite a lot. And that's where, towards the end, I met Jacob Velamisi. Because an EBIT member that was the lead engineer moved to another portfolio. But that project became project team of the year. And that's when I felt, okay, now this is good.
This is it. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Then when you mentioned because I came in as a process E18, 2024, 2023. Then I didn't know anything about the document controllers. I didn't know anything about commercial. There are people I was focused on engineering only. Only then when I was in a group, then I started learning. I'm like, these people do this, cost control, document controllers. Yes. So it's for the project to be successful, you need everybody there. Yes. So it was one of those things. As a VP, you have a lot of projects in your portfolio. So how do you keep oversight of everything if that is happening in your team?
So I think, and I also told Ismail this when we started Handover Now, you have to learn quite quickly that you cannot be in all the detail. It's simply impossible. The portfolio is too big. There's just too many things happening. So you need to get out of the detail, and you need to trust your team members. Because if you do not trust your team members to do what they should be doing, it's a job that will probably, from a stress point of view, you will simply not make it. So I think for me, that's the biggest thing, to trust your team members that they will look after 90% of day to day. And when there is an issue, then they will approach you and say, listen, there is an issue here where we need your support or your guidance, or how do we take it forward? And I think that's the only way that you can manage a portfolio like this. There's no way you can understand the ins and outs of everything that's busy happening. And there is, if you add the tier 5s, just number-wise, you probably sit with somewhere between 250 and 300 active projects. You can't know what's going on all of them. Yeah. You have to trust. You've got good people. You spend your time with making sure the culture is good, making sure that people get development opportunities, and that where there are concerns that, I think from a performance point of view, that is addressed, then you trust them to do what they should do. They are the people that specialists in their own jobs, and that need to focus on that. That's to my mind the only way you can do it effectively.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Is there a project where both of you had to make a tough call? How do you align in the decision of it?
Together?
Yeah, where you work before.
Okay.
Since you work together.
I can maybe help him.
venture something. Let's see.
I can choose one or two. But in 2019, we actually involved a company from Cape Town, Waterjet Cutting.
Oh, yes.
And they are the guys that actually did very nice cut on the column. So take note, the plan there was we would cut an existing column, so more or less like 1/3 from ground level, and then we bought like a three-quarter new column. We installed the internals and the support structures, but then we had to weld it on site. So to save time during the shutdown, we had to make sure that the cutting is not grinder, because the grinder you can do kind of a wavy cut. It's going to mess up the welding. But then Waterjet cutting was the first time we used that technology to actually do a clean cut that gave the fitters less time just to prep it, polish up, and then it's ready for welding. Harafilion did a walk after we finished cutting, but then the Waterjet cutting guys were supporting another project close by. And they found during the walk, these guys with their own equipment, etc., at Refining East, and he started asking questions. And it became a question to say, but how did we get these guys here? Are they on the vendors list? How are their safety standards, etc.? And for us to close that, there was Guido, who was the safety lead in those days, but we had to prep a presentation for Harad video. And Nelis had to review it and say, no, let's add that, not too much information, etc. And I think when that final presentation went to him, you came back and said, no, now the issue is closed. but at my level, I was so nervous in those days. And came every day to me saying, how is this going to end? How is this going to end?
And then when it comes to reviewing, one of the guys that I spoke to, that gave me the contact details, was like, he doesn't know how you see all these projects and how you remember everything and keep in touch with people. But one thing is, he was explaining, I was like, he was preparing for a steercom, and then you went through a report, made comments, and by the time a reply was like, no, I already sent out the report already. I was like, the way you read fast, you are so detailed in your reviewing and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah. So when you get the report, what do? You just don't waste time, get it over and done with, or
and sometimes I must say, sometimes I worry that guys might think I'm too pedantic about stuff. So let me, and I've told my team that as well. I've told them, guys, you must tell me if you think I'm too pedantic. But my commitment is always that if you send me something, a steer compact for review, I will review it, and I will make my comments. And my comments is probably not always will change the intent or the content of something, but I believe that whenever you put something out there, it must be quality.
Yes.
So I do review in detail. That's a fact. So the guys that told you that, it's definitely the case. But I hope I can also add value through doing that, and just making sure the message is consistent, etc. It's a quality message. So that's the intent. But I do my reading. Just being thorough, and put a quality product out. Whether it's steercom slides or a report, make sure it's a quality piece of paper you submit.
Yeah, it was like, I can't believe I missed that, but he picked it up. I was like, so I was like, that's good. Okay, but again, you worked on multi-million-dollar projects. I saw the LinkedIn profile set up and everything. The natural clean fuels, I guess it was both Sasol and Sasolberg. the Nitref one.
Yeah, Natref and Secunda was run together at a point. And then it got split. I think in COVID, they actually made the decision to say, okay, Secunda needs to go. There is really no cash flow for Natref as well, and there were lots of discussion at the time on the future of Natref. So they're busy with that clean fuels project currently, so they're going to convert it, but it was then split.
But with the clean fuels and the Fat 6, what were like some of the biggest lessons like with those?
Sure. There were lots of lessons.
You can take the clean fuels one. You can take the clean fuels one. You will take the Fat 6.
So let's talk about Finance Dam 6. I moved to Secunda for Finance Dam 6.
Yeah.
So we and you probably, if you talk with mechanical guys that's been around for a while, they will also tell you about PD pumps on Finance Dam 6. So when I moved to Secunda beginning 2017, the target was end of that year we need to get the DEs. That was the first line and the first PD pump set we had to complete. But as part of that, we had to complete the substations inside Ash West and East that caters for the full project. So it was mobile substations. And we were under pressure from start, because what happened to us is the first RFQ that went into the market based on their involvement, etc., went to Murray and Roberts at the time. And then Murray and Roberts came back with a price that was significantly higher than what we had in the estimate. So that was the first challenge. We tried to negotiate with Murray and Roberts. It did not work. We then said, okay. So we wanted to award. We got FID September 2016. We wanted to award the contract for the mechanical and piping work to kick off the work in January. So in other words, award end November, beginning December, start site establishment, January start work. We couldn't get to an agreement with Murray and Roberts. We reissued that RFQ into the market, and we appointed Orex March 2017. So we kicked off the work 2 months later than planned. The December 2017 target did not change. They still said, guys, that we need to get the sets in by December 2017. So it was a tough year. From civil with Kajima, lots of challenges. The PD pumps for Lua, we had challenges. We also had fittings fail on us. We had to replace fittings as well. So multiple challenges, and I will still remember it. I was supposed to go on leave 15 December that year.
Yeah.
Everything booked, family ready to go. We didn't get to RFC. So I came back and I told my family, no, this ain't gonna work. The Friday thereafter, just before Christmas, the 15th, if I recall correctly, was a Friday. 22 December, then we're going on leave. And we were confident we need a week to get the work done. So we worked very hard. The electrical was then the main issue. The substations, get them completed, get them signed off. We had also a client on the electrical side that was not the easiest customer. But anyway, so we worked that week. We sat down Friday, everybody in a room. I will never forget it, at unit 52-252, the building over there.
Yeah.
We sat there, started signing RFC, all disciplines signed. It got to E&I, and the senior manager on the plant side said, I won't sign. You guys are not ready. So I walked out of there. I was so confident. The previous evening, I packed everything. The bucky I left here, it was, I'm going to go and come home, hook the trailer, and we're driving.
Just go. Yeah.
We will go. That happened. Vian was still the senior electrical engineer. Vian walked out of that room, took his badge, threw it at me and said, I'm done. I'm finished. So now those were still the days where milestones were a big thing. And if we don't meet this milestone, the whole incentive for group technology for project delivery would go to zero.
Yeah.
So I reported, actually still Trevor was the VP. I was the senior manager. I phoned Trevor. I said, Trevor, this has just happened. What now? He said, okay, let me phone Gerrit. I'll get back to you. He phoned Gerrit, and then he phoned back and he said, okay, there's no way you guys will continue to work even if it's up to 31 December. You will finish this. You'll sign RFCing this year. So I still, we went back to Adstander. It was very emotional. I was in tears. Vian just said he's resigning. He's done with Sasol. So we sat there and we said, okay, so we come, Nico Du Plessis was still there. We come back, we'll have to finish it. Everybody was gone from the construction side. I still remember we phoned because we needed COCs was the big issue that the plant had. The COCs is not correct. It needs to be redone, etc. So we phoned the guy from Oryx and he said, well, I'm on leave. I'm in Kuruman. We said, okay, we pay you a 20,000 Rand bonus if you're back on Monday. So I came home. So I told my family this is not happening. But then I made a decision. So that Saturday morning, I drove them. We were going to the West Coast. I drove them to the West Coast. We would have gone with my family, set up camp. Sunday, I drove to Cape Town, flew back to Secunda. Then we finished it in that week. We signed RFC. So yes, but I mean, reflecting on it, it is, and Ismail probably said it earlier, it's scarce, but you also in difficult times, that's when you really learn about the people around you, about the team around you, and you pull together and you make it work. So yeah.
Good old times. But okay, I have 5 questions, but for these 5 questions, I need one word answer. So
1 word answer.
Yes. So I'll start with you. Then you will have like 2-3 seconds later to answer. Then I'll come back to you. Okay. Then you will have 2-3 seconds to think about that one. So okay, let's start first with the first one. Leadership in 1 word.
Okay, let me go. Trust.
People-oriented.
Okay. Biggest challenge in project.
Cash flow.
Currently, yeah.
1 word.
1 word.
Uncertainty. But I feel I have to qualify that.
Not this time.
Okay, but anyway.
Okay, back to you again. Your management style.
Relationship.
I think I've asked some of the guys like effective, excellent, then I forgot the other ones.
Okay.
Yeah. They begged you.
Trust.
Okay. Most important value at Sasol. Resilience. Caring. Future of engineering.
Bright.
Oh, bright. Okay. Yeah.
Very promising.
Okay, perfect. Then
AI won't take us over.
AI won't take us over.
Despite what people are saying, we will still need brilliant and bright engineers and people that can solve problems and think.
Correct.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, then I was one of the town halls. The people, some of our colleagues in the US, was like, "What do you think about the robotics in mining and all those things?" I was like, "Yeah, I didn't think about that one." Yeah, but okay. Then let's see. Enough about hectic stuff about work and all that. Let's start with this one. I heard like you are very invested in the athletics happening now. The season, you are into sports and everything, and rugby. That's all your big things. Then you ran like 2-3 comrades. That was a surprise to me.
What do you mean, man? I'm streamlined, man. It was a couple of years ago.
Are you gonna do it again? Or like, nah, you out? You done your part?
Yeah, I don't know if I will do it. Firstly, I've got it, my left knee. I will have to fix if I ever want to do it again. Yeah, so I've got a problem with my left knee, but I'm not sure if maybe when kids are out of school and I've got more time, I will think about it again. But yeah, I've got an injury problem as well that I need to fix. I can't do long runs at this point.
Yeah, I've done my fair share of like running. I'm not gonna do it again. I had a career in that, then that's it, done. Then when do you start running? Was it like something that you did like in high school?
No, I always played rugby. My boys are also playing rugby, so I always played rugby. Did a bit of athletics, but not too. Long jump actually was my thing at school, so I did a bit of that, but mostly rugby. And then actually after school, I played rugby at varsity. And then when I started working at Sasol, I continued to play rugby. So I played rugby for Van der Bijl Park at that point in time. And then I got a serious injury. I dislocated my left knee. And then I decided, okay, this is it for me in rugby.
Yeah.
And it was actually, I then, probably for a year or so, I did very little. And then a friend of mine in Sasolburg, Verden, he ran a couple of comrades, and we were actually out on a Friday evening having a good kuier.
Yeah.
And he said, "No man, come and run a comrades with me." And I then thought, okay, I was probably braver than I should have been that time of the night. I said, "I'm with you. Next year, I'm doing comrades with you." And that's how it started. I did 2. I did one down run and one up run.
Yeah. I showed an episode with Andy. He was like, "Hey, let's make it a deal. In 2 years' time, we're gonna do it for comedy." I was like, "Nope, cut me. I'm not doing that. I'm not falling for this Sasol. I see people at Sasol riding comrades. I don't know what is the disease or what people running here. I don't know why you guys are doing it." I was like, "Nope, you're not gonna do it."
No, but you must consider it's a special event that I can tell you. Comrades is a special event, and if you prepared well, the day is actually it's a brilliant day, and it's really a special event.
Yeah.
The hard work is the prep. To make sure you prep well, but the day is really special.
Yeah, okay. Then what's gonna happen now that you're leaving? The boys, the horse riding.
Yeah, so I guess anyway.
You're gonna miss the rugby,
Yeah, I'm gonna miss the rugby. So yeah, my eldest is grade 12 now, so he's going studying next year. So I think for him anyway, horse riding would have probably stopped. Would have stopped.
Yeah.
The younger one, he's grade 10, so he's still got 2 years to go. So I will definitely miss the support Saturdays, whatever sport they're busy with, because that when you have kids, that's a big part of what you do. So I will miss that, and it will be difficult for me sitting in Qatar and playing a game here on a Saturday. So that's something I will have to get used to, and I think it's going to be tough because, I really enjoyed it. Enjoyed supporting my kids, enjoyed supporting them at sports, etc.
Yeah, but like I see that you're fond of all these kind of things, but that Honda Ballad that you had, I heard there was nothing smooth about that car, but you still loved it.
So my days.
And your wife could hear you from a distance before you even call. Like she's like, oh, there's the guy coming.
When I went to study, I went to study in the days where from the residence you walk to classes, in the evenings you walk. So here and there was a guy with a car, but that were really these really rich guys from Joburg. So most of us didn't have cars. And I think in my third year, I bought a car actually with money that I've saved. Also in the farm, we had a deal with my dad. I had all of the kids. You had your own sheep and your own goats. We farmed with sheep and goats. So all money I saved in my third year, I bought an old car on the ballad, but really old. And it at some point had a hailstorm. So it was full of little dents from the hailstorm. But I mean, that's what I could afford. And my dad just said, well, that's what you can afford. It was not that healthy as well from an engine point of view, but it was still going. And then from my third year in varsity, I actually had this car. And when I came to work in Sasol, I came with that car. And then when I got in those days my promotion to level 6C, I bought another car. But that Ballad took me for a couple of years. That was my companion. It was not the most beautiful car. It was it was not the most healthy car, but it was what I could afford. And it worked for me.
It worked for you, okay. Well, Mr. Ismail, we will still be enjoying rugby, yeah? We're enjoying the company. You can watch it on TV, but the company won't be the same that size, so you're going to miss out on that one. Then you have... I know you like something I don't like. I don't know if you're a fan of it, but soccer. You like soccer? Manchester United fan or
Manchester United fan?
Yeah, he wore that shirt to a meeting yesterday, and they didn't want to give him money, so he will have to soon change that.
He's right. I don't believe when I was young, actually. I played soccer with my homies in those days. It wasn't these developed factory manufactured soccer. We made it from plastics. So you take all the sugar plastics, you actually roll them with heat, then you make a soccer ball. That's what we used to play. Interesting. But I had soccer, and then in the primary school, got involved with cross country, not the 100-meter runs.
Long distance
cross country, and then I also got involved, got passionate with karate at some point. So those three are the ones that I had maybe in my life. Soccer still remains more passionate. I think I've been with Manchester United since 1999 when they won the treble. Sir Alex Ferguson was one of the very good coaches, stroke managers. His biography is good, actually. You can learn more than soccer in what he wrote. The way he handled people, the way he actually directed the players. Not all the players were yes, sir. They had their own attitude. He managed them better than what most of the managers these days do. Soccer.
So just soccer, The reason why I don't like soccer, I don't watch South African soccer. I don't watch. South African soccer is PSL, right?
Yes, PSL.
Then the other ones, even the outside ones, I don't watch it anything. And the reason for that is because I remember early grade 8 going to grade 9. Was playing. I decided that day, like, you know what, I'm gonna skip training session. I'm not gonna go run. Then my coach saw me play in a neighborhood, so he passed by my place. Then he stood like this on the road. He looked at me. I was like, yo. Then I ran into the house. I was like, I skipped gym just to play around. And then that same day, I fell like on the stone while playing soccer. Then I thought it was like it's nothing. Then the following day went to run again. He acted as if he didn't see me, nothing happened, so just ran. But now it was like a problem. I don't know what happened. It started swelling and all that. Then went to a doctor, went to a clinic. Then the clinic was like, no, you have to go to the hospital for you to scan you, do x-ray. Then when I went there, they were like, no, it's just a sprain. It's not an issue.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Then, but they're like, no, you don't have to run. You don't have to go running now for like 2-3 months. I was like, 2-3 months. Like I live for that thing. That's my thing. Then I was stubborn, went, then became worse. Then I couldn't walk now. That was a problem. Went back to the doctor. I was like, hey, if you continue being stubborn, you're not gonna run until for the rest of your life. I was like, no, now that's the problem. Then it took me 9 months to be okay again.
Yeah.
And then now, I was even stubborn. I went to even the cross country to run. Now I was even the last person to finish. Yeah. Then people were like, what happened with you? You used to be the best. Then people are making jokes and stuff. So 9 months in, didn't do anything. Then from that day, I was like, never again. Anything that has to do with soccer, watching it, playing it, I was like, done. Yeah. I stopped doing what I like because of this day. I was like, never. I never understood it. I was like, nope.
Yeah. But if you transition into project management in future, just remember you're gonna encounter something like that. But don't give up.
We've met a couple of those people, and I don't know how you deal with them, but
don't give up.
Yeah, so I was like, no, there's no way. I was like, no, soccer, now I'm done. But one thing that you guys have in common, you go to Sasol gym. But you do different things. You're doing running, weightlifting.
Yeah. And I also then put it on my profile.
You don't put it on your profile.
Status.
Okay. Hey, maybe you should join it, then it will put you there.
Yeah, I know. I've seen Ismail. If he runs into somebody he knows in the gym, then they're on his profile, on his status.
Or you should be there on the treadmill. Join him on the treadmill. Or just take a picture of him.
He goes early in the early hours.
Yeah.
Usually go maybe after work.
Yeah.
Over weekends. Multiple times I've met Kumbulade as well over the weekends.
Over the weekend.
I've never met Nelis because I enjoy my bit of sleep.
I never go. When was the last time? I only go in the afternoons, like on a Friday, because I know people are leaving Secunda, whatever day is quiet. So every day I go in the morning. I don't like it. Yeah. It's peaceful, and you work on time. Like, I need to get things done. Yeah. In the afternoon, I'll find someone after work. Hey, how are you doing? I've never seen you in a long time. I'm like, I'm here for business. Please. And I'll spend 2 hours at the gym. They're like, no, not doing this. Yeah, but back again. Before we go back to the other questions, one word answer again. What's harder, budgeting or babysitting?
Budgeting.
Okay.
Babysitting.
You know what? I keep quiet because I said one word answer. So, if your career were a movie genre, which genre will it be?
Just repeat that.
If your career were a movie genre, which one would it be? Comedy, action.
Action on my side.
Action.
Drama.
Okay. Meetings, energizing or exhausting? I guess this
exhausting.
Context will be needed.
You still only on one word.
Yeah, one word,
Exhausting.
Energizing.
Yeah, okay.
It's one word answer, right?
Yeah, one word. Favorite engineering buzzword? People are throwing it around that you don't even know what it means, or does it even matter? Decarbonizing, agility, sustainability. I don't know.
Mass and energy balance.
You try to pick a fight. I see what you're doing.
It's one word. Okay, sustainability.
Sustainability.
But I feel I need to qualify. But okay, I'll stick with it.
Okay. Trying to pick a fight with engineers. We run Sasol. It's a process, this thing.
But that's why it's a buzzword. So put must dash as one word.
One word. Okay. Coffee or chaos?
Coffee.
Coffee. Okay. Like things, energize, preparing for things. Okay, perfect. But let's see then. In terms of the leadership and the culture, there's a couple of them that I wanted to pass, but yeah. But for you, this year will be like 24 years, 25 years?
I'm actually, I started
24.
2002, so I'm in my 23rd, heading into 24th year with Sasol.
Yeah, okay, that's good. But what kind of, like in that span, like over 20 years plus, like what kind of leadership philosophy has guided you, or like over the years, I think?
Yeah. So I think I always had more appreciation, and I've had both in my career. I've had leaders that is supportive, that is engaging, and that is caring. And I've also had leaders that were really, if I could call it, micromanaging, and everything was always a big issue and a big problem. But definitely engaging leaders, leaders that do care for people, that respect people. That for me always worked. When I was reporting to somebody, I just had a lot more respect for a person that conduct himself in that way, and worked for me, and that's what I also tried to do.
Yeah, yes, it's one of the things that was common when I was speaking to the three people that you gave me the contact details, like your openness, your fairness, and then just willing to get other people's like opinions on matters. So you're doing that, and then just to get that right, the exact words. Let me see, I get it for you now. Exactly the same. Yeah. So it was just like that, and one thing that stand out, just like the respect for others, openness, and fairness was one of them as well. So is that. Then still on the culture and the leadership. So like in your team, Ismail, like how do you maintain that trust and transparency across the layers of the project?
It's meetings and sharing information. But again, I think the one important aspect from management or leadership perspective is to make sure that every team member understand which direction you're taking. At some point, have a pit stop in courts, irrespective of how you want to do it. You can do it as a recognition session, or maybe just a stop us saying, guys, we started from here and this is where we are, but remember, that's still the end goal. We still have months to go to that point. In my view, if there's buy-in, if there is context in what you're doing, that's the best you can do with your team. You will realize in some cases, since 2020, because you've got people working on teams, you're not on camera. At the point when you're following up on certain aspects, you realize you left some people behind. And I've seen that multiple times, and I think it's perhaps Nelis has told us in some of his meetings, say, you guys, sometimes when you're in teams, you're busy, emails, etc. That creates distraction. And I think as a leader, you need to recognize, yes, I'm trying to make sure we are all on the same page. Everyone understands which objectives we are chasing, but there will still be one or two people in your team that will be left behind. And then to realize that, try to recognize that, and still try to bring them together.
Perfect. Then there's this one thing that I think the surname is not South African. It's like some guy from Germany and stuff. On LinkedIn yesterday, I saw like a post. I was like, actually, this is the perfect one. I'm gonna bring up for discussion right now. It's about the tiers of decision making system, DMS. So just like showing like this, the three of them. The first one will be the strategic tier, which deals with the execution leadership level. Actually, this is perfect. This is for you. The first one is tier 1. Then the tier 2 is for you, tactical tier. So then he explains like what at every level, like what is happening there. So tier 3 will be operational base is execution. So that's where I fit in. So whoever is involved here is like line managers, frontline employees, technicians. So the day-to-day operations and task execution. So that's tier 3. Then for tier 2 will be along the lines of resource allocation, project planning, performance monitoring, and then the people that are involved there will be department heads, project managers. So that's why I say like that. That's why you fit in on this one. So focus of it is just dealing with translating strategic goals so into actionable plans. Then when it comes to tier 1, it will be like executives, board members, strategic planners. Those are the people that are involved there. And then their focus will be along the lines of long-term strategy, vision, and high-level goals. But why I brought this up was I feel like sometimes like you have like those managers that are too involved in the execution side and more or less on their role, and then just trying to figure out like if you neglect your role, and you are too involved in other people's level or tiers, it will translate more of like not trusting them to do their job or anything like that. So for someone that is like that, how would you like advise them to change or to stick into a role, give flexibility to their team or their employees? How do you help them to stick into their role and stuff like that? Or in your case, how do you stick to your role, making sure like this is my level and I make sure everything in this level, like I make sure the goals assigned to me are translated to tier 2, and then from tier 2 are translated,
Yeah, so I it's important. Firstly, I want to say it is important that you've got the different levels. And I think as Sasol is set up, I mean, even with the level that I'm at, I'm probably not that involved in strategic. So the level 1 you've got, that happens really, I would think, at EVP, SVP level. But it's critically important. As Sasol, we've gone through a period now, probably for 3-4 years, where people, and if I say people, employees, the market, everybody was sort of uncertain. So what is Sasol's strategy? Where is Sasol going?
Yeah.
And when we did our surveys, etc., that also came out where people said, but what is the strategy? And I think what the current executive has done really well is to, in Capital Markets Day this year, to at least give that, to say this is our strategy, and it's something that's tangible, you can understand, etc., which helps a lot. But on your specific question, I mean, for me, it's to have that discussion, to say it's important, my view at least, that if you're in my role, in a senior project manager role, that you have the experience, you have the scars. So I think any leader, it helps if you've gone through that furnace yourself, if you have experienced it. But not if you use that to tell people that this is how you should do it and this is the only way to do it, then it is not accepted well, and you will probably lose your people. And they will say, but this guy is just micromanaging everything we try to do. However, if you use that to coach and guide, to say, when there's a problem, to say, I've seen this before, it has happened to me before, think about the following in how you approach it.
Yeah.
That allows people to solve problems, allows people to grow. And it is difficult. There was people in my career that simply you do not convince them to go to give guidance, coach, allow the team to solve the problem, where they just want to tell people that this is how you should do it. This is the only way to do it. So personality-wise, for some people it's easier than others, but I'm convinced that people need to understand that when you're level 1, level 2, don't get into the detail. Give your experience, give your guidance, but still allow the guy whose day-to-day job it is to solve the problem.
Yeah, I see. Perfect.
I think Nelis has touched a very important aspect. When you've been there, when you traveled a road, and you move up the levels, it gives you a lever to ask the right questions, if necessary. It gives you a lever to give guidance when a report comes to you and say, how do we handle this? Because I think you've been there. But it's also the choice of words. You can rather say, have you considered ABCD, instead of you shall do this in this way. The choice of words matter. But I also just want to bring a few items. I think on the strategy perspective, you might have heard even different team members saying, I love doing meaningful work. So the item meaningful work comes in realization when an employee knows, I'm executing this project, this is the end goal for the organization. If they understand the bigger picture, if they can link that to what the organization is trying to chase, it gives them that vigor to say, let me achieve this, let me win this. I reported to Hannes Vice at some point as a line manager. Then I moved to report to Johan Deaka. Then one advice I always have in mind is he told me, Ismail, you're coming from construction management department, so I know you like details, because the detail is what prevented claims. So there were commercial claims that we were involved in, but for you to actually mitigate those claims, it was the detail that happened on the field. So I was kind of groomed into that front. In M7, we had about 36 disputes that we ended up with on the commercial front. It was GOTA in those days. It was only me and Vishanta, first from commercial, that had to develop the information to say, no, we agree or we don't agree to this. 36. But where did we get that information? From the detail, from the data. So obviously then I was now groomed to say detail is important. So when Johan told me, sometimes just sit back, look at the bigger picture, and then make a decision. It's the same advice that I've also received from them, is to say, as you act in this role, just trust the people on the ground. You don't have to go into a lot of detail. So there's consistency in this. But I think in summary is to say, there's times when you have to use the knowledge that you have, but just to guide someone, not instruct to say, thou shalt do it this way.
Okay, I see. I guess as you go up the ranks, you just have to make decisions based on like the experience that you have, and then because you deal with uncertainty as well, like you just have to trust on that and the people that you work with. So
but there's something that is also very important that I've realized in my career within Sasol. One is stay away from micromanaging as much as you can, right? But at the same time, you should also not use an aspect of not micromanaging to ignore the guidance that you need to give to a young engineer or a young project professional. So that building, that organization has got a mix of very experienced people that are approaching maybe retirement. They've done 60 projects plus in their life. And you've got professionals that have not finished a project. If you ask them, which project did you do from get one to project close out, you might not find a lot of them. Yeah. So that project life cycle, you only see it in the book. You only see it on YouTube to say this is how project life cycle goes, but you haven't been there. Yeah. So much as you would say, let's not micromanage, but you depend on your counterpart to say, Ishma, I need more guidance here. I haven't been in this sort of environment, so what must I look for? Yeah. That helps a manager or leader to actually give guidance. The other side of the story where the employee will say, no, but don't worry, I know it. Now they proceed and things don't go as they planned. So as a leader, in my life, I feel guilty to say I knew perhaps this would have been the best way to do it, but maybe I didn't advise, or maybe there wasn't opportunity. That's also the feeling that I can get. So remember, her success or the EC success is also my success. Yeah. If they fail, I also fail if it's my portfolio. So I think it's that striking balance aspect to say, let me not micromanage, but also let me provide the right information in a timely manner to make sure that success is achieved.
Yeah. Then I see like most of this generation, they focus so much on like they want to go up the ranks, being a manager and all that. But when you check it, their technical knowledge or their foundation is not as strong, but they want to be like at those higher positions, but they don't have the experience. So if you have to meet someone that's like that today, what advice would you give to me?
Yeah, so I do think there is, to an extent, and I mean I see it in my kids as well, there's an unrealistic expectation of how quickly you can and you should progress.
Yeah, to make it.
To make it. Because the reality is you can be, if you progress too quickly, you can be almost promoted to a level of incompetence where you get to a point where you're now at a level, but you have just not got the experience to really be able to operate at that level. So, and I know it's nice. I mean, everybody that I know would like to be promoted. That is always something that most people strive for. But I think one needs to get that balance to say, but I need to also get the relevant experience, spend the relevant time on different levels in an organization.
Yeah.
So that when you get that promotion in the end, that you can also talk from a point of experience to say, I've seen this, I've gone through this. Because if you don't have that and you end up as a leader or a manager too soon in your career without the relevant experience, you will probably struggle with people that believe, but okay, I don't think this individual has got the relevant experience and knowledge. So it's a balancing act. Obviously, you also don't want to be on a certain level or in a certain position for years on end. That is not what I'm saying. But you need to spend some time. It's not something that you can short circuit.
Yeah. This is what new skills that you think are becoming essential for the next generation of project leaders? Okay.
Interesting question. But we grew up in project environment with a triangle, right? So triangle means budget, time,
and
scope. So you got scope, time, budget, scope, cost. That's all. But come to Sasol and come to the other international organizations, you need to bring in safety as well. Yes. Safety performance was never part of the triangle that we had in the PIMPO. Right? Then the aspect that is super critical now, from calendar year 2019 is cash flow. I mentioned cash flow. So in the days when you could say, okay, I've got the money, they want me to finish this in 12 months, then I know the scope, what I need to execute.
Yeah.
But do you understand the dynamics in the plan that you've created around those three aspects? That will be coming from cash flow availability as well as safety, performance implementation. It's quite a lot.
Yeah.
And I think he mentioned about uncertainty with regards to projects. The point is, these are the aspects that bring in even more uncertainty. But how do you still navigate the project environment for the objectives that you have to achieve? That's why in these days, people always debate now, and so rightly so, is what does project success mean?
Yeah.
Is it completing within schedule? Is it completing within cost? In Sasol, if you can do all that, but if the solution doesn't work, is it a successful project? So
another white elephant.
Exactly. So you can debate that. You can even do a PhD on that. You can even do a PhD on cash flow now, cash flow management, the impact in terms of project execution. But I think as a young project professional is to come in and realize there's this now, and how do we still deliver on projects? How do we still give the results that are expected to support the organization's strategy? Because projects are just tactics. I think you made reference to that.
Yeah.
But they support a bigger view or intent from the organization.
Definitely. Then
I want to add one thing.
Yeah.
And we have changed significantly. If I say we, Sasol, I mean, I've worked, my professional career has always been with Sasol. We really, at some point, had what they call a S1 leadership style, being told, this is what you will do, this is how you will do it, etc. We have moved significantly from a culture point of view. But I think that as the younger generation comes in, that shift is even going to be more. Because I think how my and Ismail's era grew up doing things, how you guys do things is different. And project management, or the project management field, is, I always tell the people, 70% is about relationship, people, how you can get people to pull together and make something a success. And those dynamics, I think, is going to become more and more important to always understand. But what is the culture? What's the shift from a people point of view, a generational point of view, and how do I manage this in a project context?
That's it. Yeah, that's good. But looking back, is there anything you would have done differently in your career journey?
I honestly cannot. I think personally, I think I've been blessed, fortunate, and I'm grateful for that. Yes, there was tough times, and yes, probably deciding to move the family to Secunda was personally a difficult time. All your friends in the wall triangle, and you, but I can't think of something that I would say, but this I would not have done or done differently. I think overall I can only say that I've been blessed and I'm grateful for that.
I mean, if it didn't play out the way it did, we wouldn't be here. So, yeah.
I think I have some sentiments like Nelis. I've got instances where I say, sure, but that was a bad lesson.
Yeah.
That really challenged me. But I wouldn't say I would have done it differently. I think what those sort of like dips or shortfalls brought to me is growth, is the resilience that perhaps one needs in a dynamic project environment. We get results through people, and at the same time, you've got multicultural environment. If you look at South Africa, and if you look at the people that I worked with in Mozambique, different walks of life. We had people that couldn't speak English, etc., but we had to achieve same objectives.
Yes.
Different beliefs. We had to understand the expectations. We had to learn what they wanted to have. And then you come back and say, this is how we must perhaps implement this project. You need patience to understand what these people need.
Yeah.
When I was sent to Mozambique first time, I was like, my first thought was, that country is coming from civil war. How will they embrace me going there? I was the first person to be deployed for that site. First guys I met were from the UK, and they were like deminers, so they could walk in front checking, okay, you can come here, step here, because they just came from civil. They were landmines there, so you had to remove the landmines from safety perspective. Then one lady from Canada, Michaela, she was an environmental specialist, very good, helped me to settle. But the rest of the people in there were Mozambican. The Mozambique government said, you will have this percentage of people working on this project. So we had to comply.
Right.
But I think there is to recognize this is how people culturally behave, this is how they do their things. But this is what literature tells me, or what the specification tells me about executing a project. How do I balance this?
Yeah.
And it does help you to start understanding what is in the book. You will also not necessarily implement it as it is on the ground. You need to bring in the context. You need to adjust and say, I'm still within the guidelines.
Yeah. Okay.
I think earlier you said it in a different context, but you also said, chemical engineering, but then you realized in your third and fourth year, there's not a lot of chemistry in there.
Yeah.
I think what one needs to realize in a career, there is certain jobs where it's really specialist. You can sit in a corner for 8 hours a day and you can do your work and that's it. But the majority of work you will find out there and work in Sasol, there's a huge people element to it. And I think our education system, how we grow up, and we that's not a focus area.
Yeah.
So that's probably something one always need to understand. In most jobs, I would say 80% plus, there is a big people element. And if you get that correct, you will probably be successful in being able to achieve success with people.
Yeah.
If you don't get that correct, then it's gonna be tough. I've never seen a brilliant project with bad relationships. Never.
Yeah. Yeah, I see. Perfect. Then this will be the last one. If you could go back to your first day at Sasol, what's one thing you will tell your younger self?
It's not always gonna be perfect, but hang in there. In the end, it will make sense.
Yeah.
And if you work hard, you'll be successful.
Well, what you just said right now, I just thought about my favorite Bible scripture, John 13:7. You do not understand now, but later you'll understand. So, yeah, perfect. But what would you tell yourself, Mr. Ismail? Going back first.
Interesting. My first day at Sasol was 1st April, right?
Yeah.
That was Fool's Day.
Yeah. I'm thinking.
Fool's Day, I met very, very good people, and I think first I wasn't sure whether they were joking or whether they were just welcoming me. But I think replaying that and going back, is basically, this is the first step to your career journey. It's the first step to your career journey. Embrace it.
Yeah.
And I think in embracing that is to say, I've got my belts on. I'm in it.
Yeah.
Because if you're in it, then you're gonna embrace it.
Yeah.
I don't think I looked back when I started. I started with a few guys that stayed in our team for 2 months, and they left. They went back to Joburg.
Yeah, I see. Oh, okay, I see. They love Joburg always. They must come to the Bundes. Yeah? This is where the real work is. But just in closing, I just have a, well, you know what? I spoke to you, both of you, and I asked for contact details, but I only got it from one person. So, but there's messages that I got like from the guys, but 2 people, Ernst and Johan, they just said they wish you all the luck, and with the project you'll be working on, just put your stamp on that project, stick to your values, and it will be a success. And then Ernst said, don't worry, every time you try of coming back to South Africa, you will have a fresh sheep for you to pry. So
That sounds good. It sounds good.
Yeah, they're like, so I guess I will miss you as a leader, but this will be an interesting challenge for you. So perfect.
Thank
And
you.
then last one is a special lady said, very proud of you, how you have a gentle heart. Like I mentioned before, it's like you're very open, how you help other people as well. And then one thing that people don't know about you is that you make donations, but you don't want your name to be known, helping people out. So it was like one of the things that they appreciate about you, how you always look out for the family, the boys, even yourself, and they always look up to you and your faith as well. So they really appreciate that about you. And yeah, and then where was this? I was like, you from Springbok? Young Namakwalan boy.
Played Springbok rugby for 12 years. Eh? 12 years I played Springbok rugby.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. The Namakwalan person, they're coming here. I was like, it's a small place. Even in Sekuna, when you got here, there was nothing, I would assume, so no difference. Yeah. But it's just like the message I've got from the guys. And then just like showing appreciation for the role that you play in their life. So that was that. And then say like you, one thing, you help out the church, and then you're Christian. So I want to let you go with this one. So what's your favorite Bible verse or scripture or a learning?
Sure. I don't think I'm going to go through a favorite Bible verse. I think there's a lot that stand out for me, but I think it's really just the message to say, but actually we are what people see in us as Christians is how they experience Christianity, God, Jesus.
Yeah.
So if you don't live that, if people don't see that in you, but you say you're a Christian, then you are false.
Yeah.
So for me, it's really just to through my conduct, through how I conduct myself, how I interact with other people, to be able for people to say, but this is values, Christian values, and I can believe in that, and I can see that, and it's good values. So that's really for me to be able through my life that people can say, okay, but this is something that must be special and make people strive to maybe also have that.
Yeah, we judge a tree by a fruit it bears. So so a lot of people talk about it, something like that, but the way you live your life, it doesn't align. So actions speak louder than words.
For sure.
Then perfect. Then let me see how I view both of you in this case. Then.
Can I just, before you go there,
Yeah.
I just want to say something, and we did it, I mean, that was not discussion in the questions, but
Yeah.
I do think for any person, when you're in a community, it is important that you get involved in the community and that you do
Sure.
try to make a difference, whether it's through you like a podcast or being involved with charities or a church, etc. That is important because that gives also additional meaning to life and good meaning to life. It's not only a work and you work at Sasol and that's it. I really believe that you need to also play your part in the community.
Yes, you have to give back. So yeah, actually, this was one of the things that I wanted to do. Like, this is how I can share knowledge, help other people out there. And another one was once I get money, I'll help out with the food drive and all that. So it's one of the things that I'm doing on the side as well. So yeah, but I was like, the only thing that goes to social media will only be this, not the other side of it. Not that one. We don't do it for show, no. Yeah. So we just don't do things for show. So yeah, that was that. Then let me see from my side how I see both of you. Let me see. My journey into coming to your space started with you rocking up in your office. I remember. Yeah, I was like, I wanted to do a master's in project management. And I spoke to Ero Mara. She was like, hey, since you are in your GDP program, why don't you go in a space where you can experience that instead of you going to varsity and wasting your money? See if it's something that you like. And then if it's something that you like, then you can also go to varsity, just upgrade yourself. So then that's when I started coming to you, like, okay, this is what I want to do. Then you ask me questions like, do you want the engineering side or you want the project management side? And I was like, nope, I don't want anything engineering. I want the project management side. But like, okay, I have a couple of people, but you'll find someone for me. And he told me then that's when I started working with Ishmael. And then I remember the second time I came to your office again, I just realized I don't set up meetings. I just rock up. The second time I came was when more like asking a favor if you can speak in the Jeff conference. And then no questions asked. I was like, give me time, date, then I'll be there. We'll show up. And then of course I couldn't let you be there alone. You're plus one.
Yes.
Yeah, so just like through those discussions, just appreciating, like you're very open, just like the guy said, you're very open, you're very fair. So, and giving back to the community again is one of the things again. You giving back to the younger generation, like tell them about your journey, how they can navigate it, sort of. So it was more of that. Then the last one, like I said, I was like, I will not let you go to Qatar and then we're making a discussion. So that's why we're sitting here. We're having this discussion now. So, yeah, and I just like appreciate all of that. Like, you don't ask a lot of questions. You see, like, it's something that is meaningful, you jump on it. So, just opportunity, you jump on it, ask questions later. So, yeah, I appreciate that from you. And
thank you.
Mr. Ismail, with my journey to project management, I learned a lot of things. We spoke about work, how to do things, but most of the things that I learned that whole year, even though it was pretty rough from the GDP side, it was very annoying. But most of the things that I learned from you was just not from our discussion. It was just from seeing you, how you do things, how you interact with other people. That was one thing that I still use today, like when I do projects or I speak to the production guys or writing emails. If someone is aggressive via emails, like, just take a step back. I'm like, what would Mr. Ismail do? So just like relax. Yeah. Then once you relax, you come back to it again, like how you deal with it. And then you tend to realize like there are a lot of people here also that have knowledge. You just not gonna focus on that one person that's gonna make your life miserable or anything like that. So most of the things, whether it's people skills, like you mentioned, is people. For me, it's more like black and white. If you fire back, I fire back. But that's one thing I learned from you, like relax. don't act, don't stoop too low to how people act and all that. So it's just one thing I appreciate from you. There's a lot of things with regards to it that I learned, but in terms of like watching yourself, how you carry yourself out, and how you care about people and stuff. I mean, it was last year sometime, I was like, yeah, there's something happening in my life. I'm taking leave. You're like, okay, it's fine. So, but yeah, those kind of things, those memories, like still stuck with me. And then how more like this generation, I resonate more with the old generation, how they do things. But I try to give more grace. From the grace that I get from you guys, I try to give it to the young engineers or the people that I meet as well. I was like, someone gave me an opportunity. There was no experience, nothing. They gave me a chance. So I tried to do that as well. And then try not to keep it to myself. That's why I sit with you guys here as well. We're like, hey, they might not get a chance to speak with you, but I did. So just give it to them. Yeah. So yeah, it's just like those moments, learning from one another and appreciating the opportunities. I mean, you'll think you don't get blessings, but these discussions, me having an opportunity to sit with people who have been in the industry for the longest time, this is a blessing on its own. So I appreciate it. So, but yeah, then I don't know if these cameras are still working or at least those two.
Those two are still going strong. But
yeah, Nelis can still move.
No, I still got it. That I still have it. So
before Nelis goes, I think you just maybe summarized on maybe one or two aspects. I've been given a lot of opportunity in my life.
Yeah.
And every turn that I made in my career, someone gave me opportunity. All my line managers, and recently now Nelis, gave me a lot of opportunities. Important is to embrace them, and at the same time, you'll also realize that we've spoken about people-oriented quite a lot. We have struggled to arrange his farewell event in Secunda because first it started it'll be maybe smaller team, SMOs only. But now everyone wants to be part of it. Now we couldn't get a venue. So hopefully it's gonna happen, but it's not the organization that I want to talk about, it's how people want to be part of that event. That said, I think Nelis has been a leader that you always remember in Secunda. And I think that's a fact that I would like to put out there. But what do I learn from this? So as a line manager that has been there for me over a period of time, I mean, there's quite a lot of values and quite a lot of characteristics that you would say I would want to actually implement it this way. This is how things should go. One mistake that we should never do in life is when you are sort of like under pressure or in trouble. People say don't fight fire with fire, so don't retaliate in the same way that maybe the person attacking you. Because if you work in the factory all over, you will encounter those people.
Yeah.
We talk about culture quite a lot, first survey quite a lot, we talk about care quite a lot. But you might realize that happens on paper sometimes because it doesn't live in everyone. And the challenge with you is, can I change this person? So don't go back and attack him in return. Rather say, great, I'll give you a moment. But the whole saying knowledge is power, experience is power. Go back after and say, are you okay now? Can we talk? And then you approach it differently and you realize this person months later is a different person.
Yeah.
He respects you. He looks after you. He calls you and say, I've got people that never embraced me on day one in the plant. Later on they phone me, how would you do something like this if it was you?
Yeah.
So I think it's something that we need to appreciate in life and make sure we make the best use of it.
well, slap you on one cheek, give them the other. So, but yeah, perfect. I see is blinking right there, but perfect. Just like again, spend like 3 hours with me now, setting up and everything. I took too much of your time, but I appreciate having a discussion with me, and I hope anyone who will be watching this will take something that is valuable. So, yeah.
Thanks.
And for me, appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Perfect.
It's also humbling and good that we can share. Hopefully, for some people, it makes a difference.
Perfect. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.